What's happening, everyone? Now, if you watched any of my videos recently, then you would have known that not too long ago I picked up a little scooter project for myself. And yeah, if you had watched those videos, you would have seen that it is a pile of crap. If you haven't watched any of my videos before and you are new to the channel, then it's a 1960 something Vespa Super. After I found out it was a pile of crap, after I bare metaled it and everything, I learned a bit or two from the internet then, which I wish I knew before I bought it. As you can see by the title of this video, it's what's called a VIETBODGE in slang terms, or a NAMA. So I don't know why Vietnam is the unlucky country to just get solely named with this, because they're not just from that country, they don't just come from there. It's all Vietnam, all across Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and you know, all that area. That's where the term comes from. As we all know, a bodged up any vehicle can come from anywhere in the world. Because I now have what is called a VIETBODGE, and I know a little bit about it now, then I thought I'd do a video on how to advise people who don't know what one is. If you're going to be buying your first scooter and you don't know anything about scooters like I didn't, then hopefully by watching this video you will know a little bit or two of what to look out for, and hopefully you won't then buy one like this. So I just want to say before we start that not everything in this video is like set in stone. Yeah, if it's got this, it's a VIETBODGE. No. A lot of the things in this video will be like, if it's got this, or it's got that, or it's had this done to it, just be wary and then start looking into it more, if you get what I mean. I think first thing to start off with is the things that will be staring you smack in the face if you go to see your first scooter. Right, so you found your perfect scooter on the internet for sale, and you've contacted the buyer, you've arranged a date to go see it, you've gone to see it, and well, you would have seen in the photos, to be honest, to start off with, so maybe this will even save you a trip. In the photos, or in the flesh, it's got guards. So this one would have been, I can't remember which way this is, that way up, a guard covering the rear light, and this one goes on the front mudguard. That one is to protect the rear light, and that's for bashing into other scooters basically. They didn't come as standard, and you don't really see them a lot in the UK or Europe. They're mainly used in all the parts of the world that I mentioned at the start of the video basically. So yeah, if it's got them on it, start raising your eyebrows. Now, I'm not claiming to be any kind of even scooter expert, let alone a Vespa expert. I'm a beginner. Now, if any Vespa experts want to chime in the comments, if I'm wrong with anything, then let me know, and let the people know, let the new buyers know. Now you can see by that footage I'm wearing a totally different top. So yeah, this is a reshoot, and I had the badge in my hand there. What I was gonna say is, one thing you're gonna have to look out for is what badge is on it, because what I thought is that the hexagonal badges aren't UK scooters. So start raising your eyebrows there, because if it's not UK, then it could be a VIETBODGE. Doesn't necessarily mean a scooter with a hexagonal badge is a VIETBODGE. It just outside the UK. That's what I was gonna say, but I thought I better double check on that. And oh my flipping god, the amount of the amount of info on the internet that, well, I just got bewildered with information Each model of Vespa's got a different badge. The badge changed throughout the years and stuff like that. So what I was gonna say about the hexagonal badges comes from different countries and that, pretty sure that's wrong. But what I will say, like I was just saying, each model and year and stuff has a specific badge. Like this scooter is a 1960 something. If your scooter is a 1960 something and you're looking at the badge and it has a badge from like the 1970s, well, why has that been put there? It's been messed about with, isn't it? So have a little look what badge should be on your scooter. And the badge, if you can see there, my badge is a hexagonal one, so the metal behind it is hexagonal. If your scooter is meant to have a rectangular badge, your model and year, but it has a hexagonal one, and the metalwork corresponds with that, well then obviously the leg shield has been changed, and you go wonder why. Now there's a few other bits and bobs, but we could be here all day stating them. Basically the best advice I can give you is to have a look online or get in touch with someone who knows their Vespas. That particular year of Vespa that you're looking at, ask or look on the internet what it should look like and what bits and bobs bolted to it should have. So apparently the little rubber ends on the stand that make it contact with the floor, they should be black, I think, but there has been known VIETBODGE ones to have orange ones. Another thing is like the way things are bolted on. There should be a correct way that the nut and bolt should go through things. So like the main stand that's underneath it bolts through by there. If it's got just odd looking nuts and bolts, then yeah, it's been bugged about with. So it should have a certain type of nut and bolt by there. So that's basically all the things that you can just see straight away, but like I said, none of them really mean that it is a VIETBODGE. It could just be, you know, they're just fitted onto it, or someone has restored one and really known how to put it back together again, or they prefer aftermarket bits and they've bought them and slapped them on. The body of the scooter could be completely fine, but yeah, these things are bolted to it. I'm not gonna go into engines and stuff because the horror stories with VIETBODGE engines, they got like parts of Coke cans inside them and all other things. Well, when you're going to buy a scooter, you're not gonna tear the engine apart, so we can't really cover that in this video. But if you have bought one, you got an inkling that you've bought a VIETBODGE, then yeah, take the engine apart and have a look. If it's got Coca-Cola written inside it, yeah, I would get another engine. So on to the stuff that if it's got any of this, run a mile, don't be buying it. What I would recommend as well, like I've already said, if you can, I wish I had this, get in touch with someone that knows their Vespas and get them to come along with you when you're buying it, and then they'll have a better idea saying whether it's crap or not, or this is a good one, yeah, I think you should buy it. Take a magnet with you. These VIETBODGEs, they're known to be full of filler. So if you get a magnet to it, obviously they're made of steel, and you put the magnet on it and it doesn't grip to it, that means it's got so many mil of filler in it and it can't stick to it, the steel. It just so happens that I've got a good Vespa here that isn't a VIETBODGE. So what I would recommend is putting the magnet all along these areas and all this area. I haven't really seen any with filler thick up here, because if it were to have filler that is thick on here, then you would be able to see the bulge inwards or outwards on either side of that, if you get what I mean. So that you could just see, you wouldn't have to put a magnet on it. Obviously, because this is the floor, you're not going to be able to see both sides. So that is my next recommendation. After you go along it with a magnet, have a look-ski underneath. Now this one, I myself have coated it all in Raptor, just so it protects it from stone chips. But you can basically see that nothing has been buggered about with underneath there. All the strengtheners and supports are all nice. You see that one by there underneath this trestle. So if they're not looking like that, all nice and perfect, then you gotta ask yourself why. I'll just show you my one to compare. So here's my one. Now ignore the holes in it, because obviously they had filler in them, so you couldn't see that. But you can see that there ain't a lot left of this support here, and that one is looking a bit not how it should, and then this one starts there and it ends there. There's nothing left of it here. So yeah, that was all full of filler, and then this lot from like there onwards was just coated in like tar stuff basically. So yeah, I wish I had got down on my hands and knees and had a look underneath that, because I wouldn't have bought it then. But yeah, dumbass buyer did. So that's what an underneath of a scooter shouldn't look like. That's what a VIETBODGE looks like. The one I showed you just now, that's what a good one looks like. Now a lot of these VIETBODGEs as well, because you can get all the replacement panels, they will have had panels welded onto them. My one has had a complete floor at some point or another. You can see where it's been welded on there. So that's why you get your magnet out, because it might look all right underneath, but if you get your magnet out, then you will find filler in it, and then you will know that it's had a new floor. Now don't get me wrong, it might not be a VIETBODGE and it might still have had a new floor. It might have been done tidy, but it should be very minimal filler in it. I have actually got a new front and floor for mine to replace that. Yeah, this one we bare metal this one, and there was no signs of welding at all on this one, so this was a good one. The next tip I'm gonna give you, and this is a visual one, and if it's got this, yeah, run a mile.
So I ran to the end of the road.
It will also back you up with the magnet as well. If you're accustomed to Vespas, you will know that they're like what is called like a monocoque chassis, whereas like a Lambretta has a tubular chassis and then bits bolted onto it. So a monocoque is all bits of steel spot welded together. So you can see by here, there's a seam running up this, goes all the way along there, and then it comes down the back there. So that is one half, that is another half, this is another panel, one single panel there. Like I just said, with the new floor and the front, this is all one panel, and then this support going up here, that's one panel. There's another panel around the top there. And the way they're all connected is what is called a spot welder. So you've all heard of a MIG welder or TIG welder. Well, a spot welder basically has two teeth on it, kind of, and it goes around the metal, the two panels you want to weld together, and they clamp like that. I don't want to claim to be an expert on spot welding, but it sends current through it and basically welds the two panels together where they're pinching it. and you get a spot weld there. And if I try to show you what one looks like, it's like that. You get what, like a dip in it, like a circular crater, and you can see that there's plenty of them going along there. They're along here, and flipping tons of them by here, and all along there. If you can't see them, they're obviously covered in filler. Why is there filler there? And like I mentioned just now, that they're all separate panels. This scooter now has had 3 coats of epoxy primer, and then in certain places where I've done little repairs, so there was just like surface rust, and I've ground it out with like a Dremel type thing, ground the rust away. Obviously that's left marks in the metal then, so I've had to just put light skims of filler in there just to level it back out again. Some places it had dents in it as well, so they've been filled. Very minimal filler work, but once it's been filled, then you got to put some more primer over the top of that. So that is why it's got cream primer, which is the epoxy, and then grey as well, which is just some high build. Well, it's had 3 coats of that in place as well. So in certain areas it's had 6 coats of primer now, but you can still clearly see where each panel ends and the new ones start. So this will have, well, he wants metal flake on it, so that's pretty darn thick. But say you would just put in like some gloss red or something like that, then you'd have like 3 or 4 coats of gloss red on it as well. You will still see clear joins in the metalwork. This one, I have ground a lot of the filler away. There ain't a lot left now, but just in this area, because you got this post in the way, I couldn't get rid of it in this area. You can see there now the join between this panel and that panel is completely disappeared, and that was the case all along here. Now, how can I say this now? People in the scooter scene that are already been into it numerous years are gonna be going, if this guy knows all this, then why did he buy this one that you couldn't clearly see the different skins of the metal? I haven't got a clue. I hold my hands up. Dummy of the Year award. I don't know, I probably got excited, didn't I? And I bought it off a mate, and he didn't know it was a VIETBODGE either. And yeah, I went over there to buy it, and I ended up spent more time yapping to him basically, so I was a bit distracted. So, excuse alert, that's all I can say. So yeah, to sum up, if you can't see where all the separate panels join or overlap each other, if they're totally missing, it's filled up with filler. And there's a reason why it's filled up with filler. It's to hide loads of nasty crap like this. Rust, dents, welding, shoddy crap stuff. So that's basically it. I mean, it's not a lot, but I mean, scooters are small, aren't they? So there's not a lot of them anyway. Do your research first. Have a look what parts are meant to be fitted on them. Like my one there should have an 8-inch wheel. If it had 10-inch wheels on it, like off the Sprint, that starts to raise eyebrows. Why has it been done to that? Is it just someone's upgraded it, or when it came into the chop shop in Thailand, that's all they had lying around to fit on it, you know? So yeah, parts that shouldn't be on it, parts that should be on it, parts are not fitted correctly. Have a look what way they're meant to be orientated and stuff like that. Take a magnet with you, get in touch with someone who knows their scooters, ask them advice if they can. Get them to come with you, and then yeah, have a look at the underneath. Get some like dirty clothes on, or bring a mat with you or whatever. get down on your hands and knees, look at the underneath. And then finally look at all where the spot welds should be. Are they there or not? And look at the seams. Have the seams disappeared? If they have, then it's full of filler. Get back in your car and go home. One other little cheeky little thing that they do that I have seen concerning the spot welds. They've slapped it full of filler and the spot welds have disappeared, and then when they come to primer, they lash their primer on it. What I've seen them do is get the end of a pencil and dip it in the wet primer to make the little circular craters, to make it look like fake spot welds.
Sneaky little hobbitses.
But they do look different to normal spot welds. Normal spot weld should be like a crater like that. It should be shallow around the edges. When they do the fake ones, it will be pretty much the same level all the way across, and what it'll have then is it'll look like a crater on the moon. It'll be raised up around the circle then, because obviously where they press the pencil into the wet primer, the primer that's underneath the pencil has got to go somewhere, so it splurges outwards and around the pencil. So yeah, that's one thing to look out for as well. Now you may wonder why is there such thing as a Viet bodge? Well, from my understanding, what I've looked into it is that X amount of scooters meant to be going to scooter heaven in these parts of the world, and instead of that they end up in these kind of like chop shops, dozens at a time, coming off a truck. And we all know it's not just like the scooter realms, it's like clothing and stuff like that. It all gets shipped out to be made abroad, and they're paid peanuts to do it. Same as this, you got someone who's being paid peanuts and being told to slap it full of filler to make it good again. They're not doing proper repairs on it. It's just gonna get slapped with like an inch of filler all over it to hide the rust. Gets a paint job, he's there in his flip-flops and his vest with his spray gun lashing it on, fag in his mouth, whoosh, all done, nice and shiny. And then they just get shipped back to Europe and stuff then, loads at a time. And then, yeah, they get mixed up and stuff with all the good ones. And then, unfortunate people like me end up buying it and think you got an okay one or a good one, and really it's just hiding numerous nasties underneath the paint. Plus another thing to remember is we've all seen videos of the way they drive in this part of the world, like for example India and Pakistan as well. There's some other countries you get these Viet bodges as well. There's no rules on the road, so they're smashing into each other all the time, getting run over by buses and stuff like that. They don't really get written off. They just get repaired and repaired and repaired until there's nothing left to repair. And that's when they end up in these chop shops then, and the way they repair them then is just to slap them full of filler. Like we seen the underneath of my scooter, it's had a new floor, and then God knows how many patches of metal has been welded on top of that throughout its life. Plus, the roads in these parts of the world, well, half of them are like dirt tracks and stuff. So if you imagine buying a scooter brand new in the UK and then rallying it all its life, what the condition of it would then be like after, well, this is a 1960 model, so it's had 60 years of rallying. So it doesn't take much guesswork to work out why it's in the state that it is. And yeah, basically they're out to just earn a buck or two in the cheapest possible way. Now, hopefully if you're watching this video and you're thinking of getting a scooter, then yeah, it might save you from buying a piece of shit like this. But yeah, what I thought as well, that if anyone who's got an ounce more knowledge than I have, and you know other things that can be added to this video, then pop them in the comments. It's not for me, it's for newbies. They can then scroll through the comments as well, and if there's anything that I've missed, you can pick it up there. So yeah, if you know any more than I do of things to look out for on a Viet bodge or a Nama or whatever you want to call it, pop it in the comments. It may help someone out. Hopefully, fingers crossed, all the comments are positive.
All right, fine. I just think you're taking this way too seriously, that's all.
And we're all here to just help each other out. So yeah, that's the end of my what to look out for when buying a scooter, how not to buy a Viet bodge like I did. Now if you are interested on what I'm going to be doing with my scooter, there's already parts 1 and 2, possibly 3 as well, I can't remember now. Well, subscribe to the channel and you will see the progress of what becomes of this. And yeah, it won't be going back to original, it's going to be bonkers hopefully, because that's all it's good for. So yeah, click on the subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you in the next one.